and they seem to get very good results, so we're hoping that with all your experience being semester 6 people, you'll get even better results. So I have high hopes for the work you're going to do today. But what I thought I would do, I've got a handout which I'll give to you, and I'll let you read through that handout for a couple of minutes. But first of all, I'm going to show you some of the work, sort of typical sketchbook from some of our students. So we set different design projects for our students, but we always set a theme that the students can interpret personally. And you have been given the homegrown, have they heard the homegrown theme?
No, they would not. They would have read it from here, probably.
One of our themes we're working on is a topic called homegrown, and we've also been working on a topic called package. Last year we did sort of similar themes. I think this was a theme from the art of collecting, and students had to collect objects that really meant something important to them. So when we ask the students, we give them a title and we tell them to bring in interesting things to draw. They must have colour, pattern, texture. Some of the objects must be multiples of one object so they can set up repeat, and everything must work together in a colour palette. So there's quite strong guidelines with setting up still lifes. So this student here collected objects to do with fishing. And so there was the flies from fishing, the reels from the fishing rods, the boxes and containers and packaging that all went from the story of fishing. And it was from her grandfather's fishing collection, so she could get the objects. And we start by drawing. We do a lot of drawing in coloured fine line or pen because it gives us good line and pattern for developing later on into embroidery or fabric manipulation and stitch. We do lots of different types of drawing, very quick drawings, drawings with our right hand, drawings with our left hand, drawings that last 5 minutes, drawings that last 6 hours. So we try and cover a whole lot of drawing in a short space of time. 4 weeks we spend drawing, but the students only do this for 4 hours a week, this subject, and then they do other subjects as well. So when they're doing all the different development drawings, we call this research drawing with filing. They also have to collect source material that relates, so she's found some embroidery that relates to the pattern in her drawing. This is her still life objects here, some more still life objects. So drawing and research go hand in hand for the textiles and fashion students. Just some more examples of drawing, starting to lay out pages in your sketchbook, making relationships again between the photographs and the source. And this is one of her fabric samples, and you can see she's just taken some of the circles and the colours from her photograph, the circles from her drawing, and she's created a fabric sample here. This type of drawing we use 2 pens together so that you get a double mark and you can get 2 patterns for the one drawing. So you can see the pattern she's created here, she's picked up here an embroidery, and again just the lines and the stripes here have been picked up in the embroidery but made more intense with the threads.
Hi, good morning.
Just showing some sketchbooks.
Yeah.
Again, just another double pen drawing, and this is a sample that's been created from fine liner drawing, and the student has just translated the drawing exactly as it is into fabric, but by using interesting threads and interesting stitches. There's some more drawing and research. Starting to put some colour, just this is a palette sheet here, painting up colour from her still life. And then the student has to design these samples for a skirt. So she's starting to look at skirt research, shapes for skirts, and placement of decoration on the skirts. We do some pencil drawing because it's really important for the students to be able to draw an analytical drawing in pencil, but for design development we prefer more expressive drawings. Again, some more pencil drawing. And this is some of the samples here. You can see the marks in pencil again have been translated into embroidery in a repeat pattern, but using interesting threads and interesting use of fabric. Again, a layer drawing. So there's 2 things happening. We do layer drawings, and there's another example here of a layer drawing. This helps us relate samples to fabric. So the student might embroider some of this on a heavy fabric, But if we use drawings on tracing paper, then that suggests that they can embroider them on a light fabric, a sheer fabric. We also use a lot of collage in our drawings because that suggests applique or other embroidery techniques. Watercolour is important, and using colour in a controlled way to get palette colours. And this is a student then start to do sort of bigger samples. Then these are hand embroidered, and she's taking a motif and she's just repeating the motif. This is an exercise all the students do regularly, which is do a drawing on calico on the sewing machine. They have to look at their objects and try and draw with the needle and thread, and that helps them get good control in the sewing machine. Again, some more watercolour drawings for practice with colour and also composition. Areas are being developed into sort of textual repeats based on revision flies, and then she's got pages, bits of development in her sketchbook where she's looking at her samples, she's looking at her skirt research, and she's trying to combine the two into her own designs for skirts. And she keeps trying lots of different ideas out based on what she's been looking at. But she's going to panel fabrics together, she's thinking about hems, edges, trims. This is one of her bigger samples where she's been thinking about an edge onto the skirt fabric, and we supply the fabric to the students for this project. We try and get them all to work on good quality fabric. We nearly always work on natural fabrics. We don't usually use synthetic fabrics at all because of the way they behave. But then again, the students developed her drawing onto fabric. She's thought about an edge that would work as a hem on a skirt. And then this is her coming up to final sketch for the skirt here, with combining different samples together, and this is her sample that she's trying to show if it's going to work. So she's looked at inserting a panel, she's looked at details for the waistbands here, she's thought about where she would put seams into the skirt and where she would place the embroidery, and this is her final skirt here. This is the front of the skirt with the sample. You can see where that related to earlier, the fishing reels, but they've become quite abstract. Some textual panels here, and then on the back she's thought about her fashion details, including a pocket. Because these students are only in semester 1 and semester 2, they don't do very complicated shapes for the garment silhouette. As they spend more time in the college, they get more complicated with the shapes of the skirts. And some people do very elaborate shapes, even in semester 2, but we try and match the shape to the skill level of the students. So if a student isn't very confident in pattern cutting, we keep the shape simple, so that they can show the textile development. So that's a little bit about what we do and the